Hello, Captain Bringnut here with another GTA 5 mystery video. This one entitled The Path and First Dose Mystery Clues, Part 1. This is being dropped in October, so Halloween events are being played out. We get to see what strange and significant places we're going to be beamed to in the new 2024 Halloween event. But these places are significant, right? I mean, where do we draw the line in distinction of significance? Every mystery hunter looks to where to find answers. But how far did the clues go, like in this right triangle random spawn of Trevor? Right behind the infamous Center Street mural, where the great scorer judges us not on how we won, but how we played the game, where most mystery hunters will tell you this is a key to the mystery. But what significance does a place hold unless you see when Rockstar shows it to us, and what clues are related to this mystery? Just like there you saw the Joker and the Vesica Pisces, a common clue throughout the whole game. So this path is going to start us off in Sandy Shores, where we're going to look at Trevor's side of the mural, I think one of the easiest ones to explain. And we're also going to see on how this is related to First Dose DLC, where a lot of First Dose DLC missions seem to be directly related to all of Trevor's side of the missions all the way to the end of the game. And there's a lot of hidden clues and details that are all based off of single player content. And so, but the question is how much of what our actions really matter? How much of what we are doing is making a change in this game? And the question is why?
Why are you telling lies about me?
No. I got it wrong, partner. I got it very wrong.
Because you see, one of the biggest arguments in all Mystery Hunter groups is what do we do as far as our actions that would make any change in the game itself. And this is one example in Red Dead Redemption 2 where we see clearly where we have a choice to either drop him, kill him, or actually save him. And here Rockstar shows us a clear choice, whether we go negative or positive in their aspect, to gain negative or positive armor. More dishonorable or honorable outcome, which in fact will change the game. The outcome of the game, how people interact with us, and also the ending. And this is why we see a lot of symbolism here in reference to the mind. And here we see a pen made of steel. This goes back to the pen is mightier than the sword, an old axiom that states that intellect was more powerful than brute force. So here we see that Brooks saved himself by being smart. At the same time, Arthur is sparing him, and that's increasing his honor. But at the end of the day, he's still a bad person. He's a bad man. And behind them is the rock formation Caliban seat. Caliban, a character from Shakespeare's play The Tempest. So here we see Jimmy Brooks using his mind to stay alive, to be smart, and Arthur showing mercy. And those of you who do remember, you can see that his face is right there where the hidden treasure is. But if you have a lick of sense.
Not one lick. Not 1 cent in this here old mind.
And our choice is reflected positively or negatively in the rhyming here at the stranger's cabin. Again, showing us that this little choice made a big difference in the overall game. So then, what choices matter and don't matter in Grand Theft Auto 5? I mean, what do we do? Do we go the left-hand path or the right-hand path? What does Rockstar say we do?
It's up to you. Kill them, leave them here, take them with you on the train. Just make sure they don't send no.
So actions have consequences, but does it matter?
What the hell is that?
What the fuck, man? They're trying to kill me.
Because like Arthur clearly stated, and like Michael and everyone else says, I'm no angel. We're all bad people. And you'd have to be an efficient killing machine in order to be good at this game. But what's karma?
I gotta get my karma back on track. Everything's out of control. I mean, it's not by choice.
And this is where, when I was in the Ascended Masters, we were testing out what was actually changing the dialogue at the psychiatrist's office. Because a lot of things that we did that most people would consider positive wasn't changing anything. But it was our decisions and the missions themselves. Like here in the early stages of Chaos, we were getting positive results.
I'm making real progress, Doc. No major acting out. Not too much. Yeah, a freak out or two, but hey, I'm feeling better.
Remember, Michael.
You see, the fact that we could keep this into a positive secession
makes mistakes,
every time, just
I'm
like I
not trying
can
to be
when we
perfect.
don't see girls, right?
Okay.
But you must remember that Trevor and
What about
Michael
your
are both
sexual
affecting
behavior?
these sessions
I've been
equally.
well. I mean, I've had
But listen,
thoughts,
watch what happens
but
when he says thoughts.
I've been good. Not a single problem.
And look what
We
happens
all
when
have
he
thoughts,
says
Michael.
thoughts.
Not acting on them is real progress.
2
I'm saving
explosions.
myself right now, Doc.
Gotta
Not
stop the
since
think
my
you go
life went
crazy if you
crazy.
think it's random, right?
Over here. I got some paper stashed in the car.
So the
And
takeaway
at no
here
point did you think about
is that
giving
our
up to
choices in the
homies that's
missions
about
are
to light
changing
your ass up.
different outcomes as far as what we are seeing, as far as cutscenes.
Over a half a key.
Man,
What's a
drug
key in
dealers
this
who don't
game,
get
right?
paid, that's who.
This goes back to the different paths in which we are taking, in which the story we are forcing to take.
Think they saw us? Yeah. They
But
saw us.
karma has nothing to do with being a killer or not. Because there are certain things that we can't avoid in this game. And in the end, that makes you the best,
You're no joke,
the god.
dog. I prayed for a crazy motherfucker, and the big man came through. This is for you.
I hate that he just throws the money down on the ground like I am some kind of dog, right? And so the question is why should I even care? It's just a game. How else was he going to give me the money? And this goes back to, like, how seriously are you taking this game and the story? How seriously do you care? Do you paying attention to all the little things that are being shown? You've done this a million times. What do these things mean? What are they trying to say? Why do they keep showing to us over and over again? But let's start at the beginning
Oh, there you are.
and what leads to
I
Trevor.
feel like we haven't seen each other in forever.
So you really have to pay attention to what's being said, what's being shown, the
You
two
know,
horses,
yoga waits for
yoga,
no one.
showing us the
Another
scene
time.
where Trevor's going to pop up, the vase in the back, the mount, where he comes in behind the painting that is Cast City Creek. There are 5 flowers on the wall here, and the painting, just like when Trevor gets to Los Santos and enters Floyd's
here's the
apartment,
shot.
you also
Lester's
see that
offloading
example,
the
and
jets. He knows
instead
a
of
guy.
flowers, Floyd
Gets
has
50 cents on the
star.
dollar. Hell, we might actually have a little spending money left.
So
after
all
we pay
these
off
things
that
are hinting
psychotic
to
Mexican
something, things that are coming, but also
Cheers.
paying attention, or giving
So that's
homage
that,
to
right?
things that they've
I
already
hope so.
established, like the A and the
whole
Z.
job. Everything about it. Anyone who knows your file, what is wrong with you?
Davey, long time no see.
And what about Trevor?
What about Trevor?
That
Notice he
realizes-
shows
no,
us
finds out you're alive,
the kitchen
you
again.
are D-O-N-E fucked.
And
Don't
spells
worry about
done.
Trevor. Trevor's dead. It's gotta be. Besides, I didn't have nothing to do with it.
And look how he separates
Whatever the hell it
them
is you're talking about.
between the body and the vases. And this is one of the biggest callbacks in the game. We heard this in North Yankton, we heard this in the jewelry heist, and this is exactly what's tying North Yankton, the jewelry heist, to Trevor.
I don't know anything
So we're going to see a lot of connections now to everything that we've just seen.
Every day. Make sure this is one of them.
Hey, don't do it.
And this is where, again, we see the very beginning of the mural on the right side. Here, the lines are being shown to us connected with the red line of Trevor's trailer and the red line of the bar back there, the liquor sign. When you look at the way the mural begins, you can see the same lines and how it connects again with this golden line. It's where the story begins.
Hey, I know. Hey, come on.
So this video is going to be focusing on Trevor's side of the mural, the right side, and also the hidden elements that are being shown even in this here. And how all the clues we've ever found was by how what all the other things that are being shown constantly while the cutscenes are being playing through. How Rockstar is setting up these scenes, like the satellite dishes in the back, Omega, like why we find the chickens here. Why is it shown to us in the movie? Why do we see yoga? Why do we see the snail that looks like an alien? But most importantly, this trailer right here, that is, in fact, the exact same trailer of Keflam that's shown to us in the back the whole time.
Motherfucker.
Isn't it incredible?
That most people don't pay attention, and if you did, what are we being shown? We see the classic Fatal Excursion clue, medical cocaine with Caduceus, and Los Santos 2020, which anybody who was around in 2020 would know that this is when there was an alien invasion, and you would also know where the alien egg
I
is.
sure hope the fuck so.
See, Rockstar likes to foreshadow a lot of things to come, but they're giving hints by the strategic placement of buildings,
you on the
and
other
signs,
side, brother.
and dialogue. Where else do we see it on the other side? In Los Santos Drug Wars.
together. We've bonded.
So again, I'm going to show how these things tie in, even this crop duster to Trevor's crop duster.
You'll see. You
It's not just because it flies
Ain't you
around,
got a mother?
because it makes sense it's flying around McKinsey Airfield and Grapeseed, because it's crop dusting. But notice we do pass McKinsey Airfield in the very beginning of Trevor's intro. And listen closely to the whoa, 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 because like a horse. And Trevor's excessive use of cowboy. Here we go, and notice the blood splatter.
Hey, you seen Ashley? Johnny's looking for her.
Well, you know, as a matter of fact, I just did, just 10 minutes.
See, another big thing going on is how all these events are happening for each character right next to each other. Just like Trevor points to the back here, Michael also has a connection to this place and where he talks to Marnie in the Epsilon program.
The paradigm is ending.
Oh, yeah, I saw her on the end of this penis here.
So throughout the game, you're going to see a lot of references of things that have just happened, and also things that are coming next. Notice Devin in the figure 4. Michael rubs his eye, Trevor rubs his
I
dick.
don't know if this shit is for me. Oh, really? Well, you don't think so, huh? Well, why don't we just ask him then, huh? Hey, cowboy,
And now we see Trevor
mind that I
going into the
fucked your
same
old lady?
figure
Sorry.
4.
What
See,
was
he
that?
was in
I
Zen, the
love
same
you.
thing that we
You're-
saw
you're
Devin
like
Weston
my
do.
spirit brother now.
And now he's going to put his hands up just like Marnie.
Fucking us! The suits! And they don't even wear suits! Wolves in
Wolves.
turds clothing!
But we're also going to see him going back into that position again, the same position
My wife got screwed by a
that
yogi.
Trevor's doing. And again,
Now
what's
I'm
the
getting
theme
screwed by a
here?
yogi?
Getting
What?
fucked.
What? No, you don't mind? Oh, because you're a dead man? And the only sentient part you left is this
And
little
pointed
bit of
out by
brain?
Mystery Hunter Dunner Doof, we can see how this resembles a little brain. And if you take into account that the map is in
And
fact
the
showing
gristle
us
on the
parts
end
of
of
the
my
head
boot.
and the brain,
Well, thank
we
you.
are actually on the gristle of this little brain that
Very
is the
much,
piece of
cowboy.
grapeseed.
Bullshit! Oh, I like it, denial! That is first part of the grieving process, brothers. Now let's all hold
Now
hands.
let's all hold
Well,
hands.
looks like you got something
And this
you wanna
again
say,
goes back to
huh?
we're
You got
sharing
something you
again,
need to
right?
say?
This is again where we're going to see a lot of connections between
Hello,
different
Michael.
parts of the
Or
game,
should I say
even Franklin.
Zolag?
Listen to what she says and how this
Your name
connects
is Zolag.
to Trevor.
You are a king. You lived in a cloud city, but evil forces came and cast you out. Now you are trapped here, but soon you shall be free.
Okay.
So all the context of that metaphorical statement makes sense when you think about how Trevor has locked Michael out of Los Santos by stealing Madraso's wife.
Kill him.
And this is again the prime example where we see the myths playing out, just like the brothers stole the beautiful Helena of Troy.
Oh shit! The fuck did you do?
And so now what we're seeing here again is how all this is connecting to what the dialogue just said.
This better be bullshit. Oh, where you guys going, huh? Let's go, ladies.
Interesting enough, we're going to see a lot of connections between Frank and Trevor. First of all, we see the 3 bicycles that are shown to us in Franklin Lamar cut off by an emperor. And Franklin does have to deal with 3 bikes. 1, 2, and 3. And then Trevor also begins with having to deal with 2 bikes and bikers. But he's chasing a van, a black van, where just like Chop or Lamar and Frank are in the white van. Just like the mission Repossession, Frank and Lamar passing by the bullhorns and the lying deficiency of brain cells, we see a stunt jump that was optional if you knew it was there, versus Rockstar or Ron telling us about this stunt jump on this side. So you can see where these mirroring actions are taking place. And we also see the reference of the bulldozer, which can be connected again to Franklin and his controlling of the bulldozer in the Polito scar, but also when he saved my boy Mark Anthony from almost being crushed by pipes and gas. Do you remember that random event in the city?
You can drop me and Wade at the trailer.
Well, we also see the random blue Emperor that drives by. But we also see this connection with the tow truck, the classic tow truck, which could easily be referenced to Franklin and Tanya, but we also see it hanging up in a picture at the bar. But that includes enough Franklin references for now. Now we're coming to the next phase in Trevor's plan of taking over the Lost MC, where we see the 5 stars and the sign, but we also see him reference to watch the show. And we're also going to hear some carnival references here. Listen. Because this then goes back to the reference of the clowns, which is a symbol that's used as far back as ring possession, but also if you think a neurotic idiot is a clown, then as far back as North Yankton. But in the mystery-related movie, we see the circling of eagles going around in a circle. Just something that is being referenced as a metaphor to him as he circles around, killing them and all the eagles we see everywhere. Listen, we hear the Illuminati and the lizard beings.
I'm one of the lizard people. I got this Chinese contact you can meet at the end.
Now we are hitting the final stages of Trevor's mission, and notice the first thing Ron mentions is he mentions the Chinese contacts. And then he mentions he wants the guns, which is why we're going after Ortega in the first place. And then the biggest question of all, do you kill Ortega or do you let him live? And think about it in context of Trevor, but also think about it in context, what did you do the first time? Do you remember?
You get the picture.
We was always cool.
Were you always cool, though?
Think about it.
But seriously, what we see early on is Chinese and mod, and we see the same thing in Franklin's choices early on when he has his path splits. But we're not going to go into rages at the moment and why Trevor was so thirsty. I want to talk about mod, because she was added in new DLC as well in GTA Online. And this is something that I've explained in other videos, this is how Trevor earns his wings, and how he becomes the effigy of Saint Gabriel. And if you're paying attention, maybe you'll see the wings.
How have you been?
Oh, simply wonderful. And you?
About the same. Somewhere stuck between joyful and peachy.
Notice she says peachy. The next time we hear that is in Trevor's death. But this is where Trevor is working towards good, or he's more of the angel Saint Gabriel. And this is where, again, we see the depiction of Ares, but shown with alchemical circles. Two paths, one of darkness, one of light, but they will both end in the devil coming into someone's home. And this is, again, where we see a lot of the clues related to John Milton's Paradise Lost and him hunting the toad whispering in the ear of Eve. Now, mystery context, this is the right wing of the eagle.
A hungry bounty hunter looking to spread their wings. That's where you come in.
So this is where we see symbolically, are you the righteous sword of justice, this angel Saint Gabriel, or are you the god of war Ares and just murdering and burning through and killing everyone? Choice is yours. But let's look at what other clues are around here, around Mod's place. So when we look closely at these mushrooms here, one has a bird associated with it, which could be the Chiliad peyote, which turns you into a bird. We see at Franklin's house, beware of dog, and one associated with the bird bath, which if you go to the one that's closest to his in the water, you'll see that it's next to Alpha Male Courier. We also see the gnomes and the mushrooms also at Lester's house. So we saw this as we should go be taking the peyote. And again, we see gnomes, but what about the flamingo?
Bravo, you fucking idiot!
This is where we see the same broken down motorcycle that we see at the beginning of Chop. And then we also see over here her garage. Now this is more connected with border security and when he gets the stun gun. And this is because the connection between illegal aliens and lightning. We see in the mystery movie they show us that lightning is important, and that was a lightning strike as soon as the eclipse is taking place. If you look around at your environment in director mode, you'll see that it's pink and blue and looks exactly like what the movie is showing.
Well, of course they wouldn't understand me now, would they, Joseph?
But this is the joke here, is that Trevor is using his own alien device to track down illegal aliens in his world, and he's going to bring them down with the lightning or stun gun. So this is again that joke that they're all having to do the same thing the others are doing, and this is his version of it. But what's even more interesting is that the vehicle in which we are chasing them in is the exact same model of another vehicle. Did anybody recognize the mariachi car? And this is where we can see that this is the same one used in the Thelma and Louise suicide every day. And if you manage to steal the car, you'll see that it's the exact same model. But this mission ends and crashes into Mod's garage. And now we take a good look at the Emperor that we keep seeing popping up anywhere. Is this a Franklin clue, or is this also showing us the option that we have when we take the couple to the altruist camp, where we hear the infamous wolf sees the rabbit clue? Now, you either take them to their apartment, room 8 at the hotel, or you follow the rat's tail to the Outros camp. But everything we keep seeing as far as Trevor's related seems to be connected to the Yellow Jack Inn. You can see the satellite and the owl as well. So we're going to start this here, and where this mystery really starts to kick off. The first mission you should have gone to first. And here we also see some clues related to Tanya and the scalping of the head. But we're rushing through because we're Trevor. And depending on your choice is what you get in this phone call here.
Well, you can't get here quick enough, or take us on his way with some friends. Says he's gonna take us out of business.
So did you let him live? And did you tell him that just the other day? Or did you kill him and now they're coming after you? But this is where we also see the beginning of Los Santos Drug Wars. Introducing Los Santos Drug Wars, the opening chapter of mind-expanding new GTA Online story. We're led by Dax, a man on the edge with high hopes of dosing the world, getting rich, and climbing the top of the San Andreas criminal food chain. This is part 1 of part 2, and they did this on purpose. But let's now walk into the strong, striking similarities between 1stDose DLC and the story mode and the path at which is Trevor. Pay close attention to all the little details that you're about to see now and hear, please. Notice you scan the room first. You see the Red Bull and then the green light and the fan. And we realize that what's really going on is they're having a party. So here, standing next to the bucket drinking, we see a duality-faced clown. And we realize that Ron is in a battle with Lucha. We see a glimpse of Chef right there for a second. And what's interesting is when we start to look at the clues, one of the things we see is this spinning around action that's shown multiple times, even in the mystery movies. It's to be a symbol or representation of something important you must know. But when we start to relate this again to single-player DLC, yes, we're in Trevor's place, but where have we seen this kind of fighting or action before? This is where, if we pay close attention to what's going on at the beginning of the Chinese mission, we start to see that this exact same kind of fight is taking place. And it's also with the border security agent as well.
He's one. Ban him.
Again, if you're paying close attention, you would have seen the hidden mask on the wall with the duality face. But the question is, where have we ever seen a female wrestler?
Is that my pizza?
Hell no, fool, it's me. I'm here.
And this again goes into how metaphors or symbols turn into real things. The only place I could ever see anything related to a Mexican wrestler was during these missions, and I was returning things to Barry.
Yeah, well, I'll send someone when I know it's clear, okay? Can't be too careful, and I'm
Because when
dealing with
looking
some
for
composting
single
issues.
player and DLC online comparisons, we're starting to see where they keep giving us these reoccurring themes. This is something we also see in Absurd Adventures again. We see 2 female wrestlers fighting.
Who the fuck are you?
My friend. That's my friend. And he is extremely dangerous.
Extremely dangerous.
Now here Ron makes a statement that he knows his friend is extremely dangerous. And this is something again we see that we know Trevor. And Trevor is also entertaining guests.
Manners, chef. These are our guests, all right? We got Mr.
So
Cheng and
we're seeing again this
humble
common
servant.
theme here on the same thing that's going on in Trevor's mission, the
Nice to
Chinese.
meet you.
And this is something that they like to do, is make these themed
Walked
elements.
in here like it's a fucking tea party.
Speaking of tea parties, at the #1 king of keyholes, this moon-like glyph we see during Chop, there is a reference here to the Boston Tea Party. Now notice that when you're getting in here, we see 1773 in the alignment of the moon, the O, and the sign. You'll see the alignment right there as well. But why 1773? What does this have to do with the game? So looking into just that date alone, you'll find the Boston Tea Party with the synonymous picture of them throwing the boxes over the edge. And this is something we also see in Father and Son, where they're throwing random boxes out of nowhere to knock down Franklin. This is how deep some of these references go. And then we hear the infamous line for all mystery hunters. about the eggs on Mount Chiliad. There is this direct association with Fatal Excursion and the mushrooms. Now, the only other place we see in single player with mushrooms and this portal-like tie-dye is over at the hippie camp where we find Omega. But notice where Labrat jumps out from, the Fatal Excursion. And now we're going to move again to get a better look at that wall. See the connecting between the women, the splatter mushroom. And speaking of splattering on Mount Chiliad, who is the falling man shown to us in the mystery? This is again something we see that the only real person that connects Franklin to Chiliad Mountain. And this is why I think this man on the mural is in fact Dominator.
If along the way I figure out what it means to be alive.
And the message Dominator tries to get across is that this is spiritual, his journey of this extreme. And he makes all the connections that we've been looking for when we were looking for symbolism and metaphors in the game. But one thing that was discovered when screwing around with the system was trying to trigger missions just by falling on the triggers themselves. We could do this in online in Mojasos, but I never found a good way for this to do this in single player. But this is when we discovered that there's more than one way to create lightning. That you didn't have to take the easy way out, like Tanisha accused you of. But just by killing yourself on high places, lightning was created. This is something we discovered on the mountain of Chiliad. And this again is something we discovered here, because why else would Dominator think that he would live by not pulling his parachute? Have you ever tried, and what missions can you get away with it? So if Rockstar is going to give us the answer right here, what are they telling us to do?
Okay, well, as your physician, let's see, I recommend...
Notice he hits the table with the bomb. Oh, a baseline of cocaine, you say. Interesting. By Fatal Excursion? Notice the redhead in the back.
Off of the pen.
5 big hits of the pen. DMT. This again is complete hallucinogenic. And notice he's pouring this in front of the mushrooms and the girl. So he was talking about balance there. And now we're talking about snake sweat. So Rockstar says there is a balancing act that must be happening for things in an extreme way. Notice we see don't do drugs, then we see the bat, then the bomb. And notice that this is not just for one, but for 2. So once all that has been spent and build up for one person, there's not enough for the second person. So this is something that we must do twice.
Everything in its time, all right, gentlemen, please. Come check out the storage facilities.
And this is where, if you understand what's going on here, he's having a trip in which he thinks they're having a party. But this is again trying back even farther back to North Yankton, where Trevor is dealing with the aliens, as you would put them, Chinese immigrants, putting them in the ice. But now we start to see the complete first dose Fooligan connection. But notice after the Fatal Incursion, there's a redhead, then the Yeti. But this is where we start to see where this is a lot of Trevor references and how this is connected to Wade and what the Juggalo group is and Fooligans. We see him talking like Trevor about how this is the best place in the world to be. But something, and notice we see a lot of the 69, which is a reference to the game itself. But why is Chef fucked up? What is he in that he's doing that he's in a perpetual sleep at the moment? This is going to go back to the concept of a secret society and being done first while you're in a state of perpetual sleep. Because like the Epsilon track in the movie shows us, this is an out-of-body experience that you're going to experience.
Okay, whatever, but we gotta go. These crazy.
Again, we see Ron starting to describe elements that have to do with Trevor and this redhead in the back, which I assume is his mother. But we also see the doll after the Fatal Excursion. But this is why it makes him the god of war, because this is what Trevor did even in the online Ice Missions DLCs. And we know how Trevor violates little dolls. And this is Lucidora, and which actually means female warrior, and it was usually used with female wrestlers.
You're not gonna join these weirdos, are you?
Hey, you strange little wiry man. Anyone can join the troop.
And again, if this is the answer to the mystery, they tell you clearly that anybody can do it.
See you're a bottom line kind of person, so here it is.
Just like Trevor, I'm a bottom line kind of person. And now we get to hear what his mission is as they drag him away.
influencer, public servant, stripped to the waist in the LS River, huffing whippets, shit in their pants, screaming at the...
So what he's clearly saying is that everybody is in a state of hallucination. The whole world is. What are we doing that could be doing that? What is it that we have to do that has to shoot straight up?
Don't be a dick.
Oh, your wish is my commando, master!
Whatever it is, it's supposed to go off at the band. Now again, we're going to see strong similarities between Trevor and 1stDose DLC's first mission.
People out of here! On it! Move! Fucking move! Help us get out of this and we'll cut you into the deal. Fuck up these bikers and get my RV back.
So we see a lot of similarities and a lot of clues shown to us here in the very beginning, but we're going to start to see more and more, like the butthole clue that's shown throughout the game. But listen closely to the dialogue. When we start to compare dialogue and actions, we can see how it's a mirror image between 1stDose. It's almost as if they're all talking about the same thing between each other.
We must have really pissed these guys off!
Trevor, look out on the left! They're getting in!
They gotta have the whole crew here!
Again, we can see that the way even the action takes place is going within the same flow the way Trevor's does. And this is again the retaliation of Ortega. Push him off, Ortega. Again, a callback to what's been done before. Now, after the firefight, it's time to free the aliens out of ice. The reason why I keep making that reference is because this is a lot like something I've noticed. I've seen this before, haven't we not?
Get back on the track!
Because the last time we saw Trevor in North Yankton, there was an alien trapped in ice.
I'll swing by and sign the contracts, alright? Just ignore the bodies.
The main thing to be taken away from the theme of this is that his prospects are being stolen, and we see the red and golden line or wires as the roof there. And we see how Jax's first part of this introduction ends just like Trevor's ends. And it's interesting is that our goal now is to get back what is stolen. And if we want to get there faster, go to the boathouse. Now, in any relationship to single player in the boathouse, we see not only the magic door, but also Ursula's connection here. Ursula being the one who can bring us lightning and rain. See a broken down bike. But we also see a lot of interesting symbols associated with her. Not only is she lined up with two X's and the cross of the ghost in yoga,
now put the diaper on.
What is her association with the eye? So time and time again we see the symbol of the eye associated with thunder and rain. But why Ursula? Do you think Ursa Major or Minor like Callisto the bear? Or why does the sign show us also Io the hidden cow? I think most people would think Ursula the sea witch from the Little Mermaid. Because thunderous rains also bring us a very high tide in the water as well. But interesting enough, we see the smear on the roof and the X that we also saw 3 X's associated with Lab Rat's tattoos. But here in the water you will find the space part in this little port. And here at the cannery, the only thing you'll find is a letter scrap. But the significance of this place will be revealed later on in the next mission. So after we steal the RV back from the cannery, we go pick up Jax, where he's now going to take us to a new location, so that he was introduced by this new location from Wade. Again, single player character.
We're gonna call the Freakshop.
So it's interesting that we've seen mirror mission to be of Trevor, but we also see how Trevor is introduced to Los Santos because of Wade. But what is a hooligan? Well, this is going to go back to the relationship between real-life Juggalo.
Sure. Last year, I was on the way to the gathering with Daisy Bell and Kush Chronic
and you stopped in Sandy Shores to
So yes, Wade is the connection in the Juggalo band, but this is also about the clowns.
Now
smile clown.
Folks are gonna tell you it's about a band or getting fucked up or walking around with your junk out, and yeah, that's a big part of it. But it's also about not giving a fuck.
So again, if we're looking to this to find answers, we hear the conflicting statement again of you are not supposed to care. You're not supposed to care at all about what's going on. But yet we know that our actions won't change. So how do you do a combination of both? And this is again where we see this distinctive clue of fresh meat.
name you're ever gonna need.
How would you be fresh meat for forever as if you never got it started?
I did peyote in my cousin's cornfield.
Here's where we hear the peyote reference and infinity with the cornfield. This is exactly something that we see in Absurd Adventures as well, is the new avenues, new fields to explore. We see the same symbolism with the cornfields. First time we see the aliens and the pyramid with the eye, the golden wings, and Welcome Home Brothers. Where do we hear about Welcome Home Brothers in this game? You remember? Cousin, uncle, brother. But notice the golden X's, did you count the 5 starfish? There's a lot being said and shown. It's learning how to put it all together. Notice he points. Notice the postcards. Okay, notice how quickly he agrees to it. Notice how Wade's arm hurts. Notice the story. Allegedly. Notice he points to his girlfriend when talking about her. Notice a key, a park bench, and lager on his shirt. The horn and the wings. Notice he wants a drink, and this goes back to Frank, Mike, and when Davy's conversation. So we can see that how Trevor's mission begins with Michael's first, showing this little interaction, and we see the same kind of interaction and when Trevor comes back to LS full circle. But now for a small job for a big brain, we gotta go pick up a trailer from the docks, the Elysian docks.
Head over to the docks and pick up a delivery. I'll fill you in on the way. So, the Freakshop's up and running. Cousin Wade has steered us right.
So in the second mission here, we are tasked with picking up party supplies. But he tells us that the first thing he did was piss off his neighbors by pissing in their gas tank. And so this goes to show us again a lot of similarities. Just to break the ice, he said. Yeah, I did. And so, again, we're starting a little party. The essentials. Wings, whippets, and some other shit. You know, wings. And we gotta go pick up this flatbed at Jetsam, which is the Elysian docks. So again, it's just a coincidence that this is again one of Trevor's first choices. He can go straight to the docks, where he learns about something going on with Merryweather. Again, screwing with his neighbors, his Merryweather neighbors.
Up here, okay?
And he has to play along.
Kick me out if I don't play along.
And so this is something where, again, we don't really know these guys, but we're just helping Dax, right? We're just playing along. Now, I'm just saying that as far as theme as the mission goes, that's what it seems to be. But as of the moment, our goal is to pick up these party supplies and bring them back to the clubhouse. But similar, again, to Trevor's mission, this seems to also end in a form of disaster. This, again, we're doing a simple menial task as part of our job. Again, is a lot like what we did with Trevor. And where we are, again, this is where we're heading on to mess with Merryweather. Again, the neighbors. But the neighbors, according to the Dax missions, are the Lost.
Normal rules don't apply to us, Floyd. We're going in.
So immediately after leaving the docks, we are ambushed by the Lost MC, our neighbors that we pissed in their gas tank. Because you find out in the end of this mission that they've been searching for us, trying to find out where Dax is hiding. So they obviously got wind that we were going to pick up this trailer. So again, this is something that we see, that no matter which direction you go with this, this trailer will be lost. It ends in failure. So just like Trevor's heist, this is going to end in failure. But this is where we hear it's going to go off the chain, just like we see the S&Ds in the mystery later on. But let's now compare to what we're seeing between both options. This one is the sinking the ship. Make out like bandits. And we hear the vagina and don't be a dick. This is more of the pussy references.
We all got shot at, you got buried, resurrected, turned into a twat, and Brad ended up in a fucking prison.
Yeah, and Lester told us not to do that job, but we did it anyway.
So this way Trevor again is in charge and knows what he's doing. But look at Floyd and Wade washing dishes in the background. He owns it. And just like North Yankton, we see Trevor's face with the dick. But notice that Michael contemplates what's being said about the friends and the plan, and he actually agrees to what Trevor's actually saying.
This part is easy, though. Oh, for fuck's
And here
sake,
it
get
is, the pussy.
Man, fuck you.
Don't be a dick.
I like that. Fuck you. Good.
Fuck you.
Good. All right.
Just like he said to Devin.
What's not like that?
And here we see Floyd, though, is giving him a background. And Wade is trying to sneak away, and we hear father and son.
You want to go?
No, I'm good, dog.
Hey, I called you
still did
boys
the
here
fist
to
bump.
discuss this job that I've been planning.
But not on the couch.
Shut the fuck up, Mike.
And this one, the dialogue is very different. In this one, we actually have to go out to
All right, we keep him out.
the desert, whereas the other one we stayed in the city.
You go states again,
And he talks about him being a carrying machine of the worlds.
All right, now, Floyd.
But this one, Michael and them are very curious and obvious that they are not in agreement to what he's doing. It's very unsure. So again, when we start to look at the heist and the specific locations and where they end, you can start to see that either way you go, it will be a failure, but each way is very specific in where it ends and what's being said and done. So you can see how this is a lot in relationship to the war that Trevor started with Merriweather. And now when we compare the heist and the location in which they end, this one, Wade's arm is actually hurt. And Trevor's very upset, and Michael makes a lie that he won't be seen around here for a long time.
You won't be seeing me back here in a long time.
And we see that Wade is the one who is in charge here. But we cannot deny the infamous lizard people and the Illuminati references.
Yeah, you're right. I have it on good authority that they're actually a lizard army who've taken human form to do the bidding of the New World Order. I hope you can flip this thing fast, because I don't want to see those reptile buddies of yours ever again.
Now remember, the other one they were unsure. This is the one where Michael was sure, and we're starting to see where this is Franklin sniping. We see that they are blowing the charges in the phone like a lot of different other missions. And we saw also the DP, double penetration, and the X. Most importantly is we see the crevice, the major hint that we see with the ass, the octopus of Epsilon, and Trevor is more in charge in this option. And then he also does the higher being symbol that we see of Aleister Crowley right there. The hood all over again. So again we see the circling action of Franklin, that these things are about bringing things back together again, full circle, and how all these things are tying together.
Michael, I am owed. What you gonna do, huh? Fuck!
So now in Retaliation, we are going to go attack their clubhouse. Oh, look where it ended. My favorite spot. And then we're also going to see how this is where we're going to learn what exactly the Lost was doing here. And exactly how we can benefit from this knowledge. But again, it's going to go back to more relationships to Trevor's mission related to Nervous Ron. But if all the clues so far are Dax following Trevor's path, well then they're already left LLS. Why are now the clues starting to take backwards motion? Because this is more in relationship to when they broke the statue and when he gets the sniper rifle, in relationship to the second mission that you should go to after the Chinese. And listen to the clues again that tell us this.
That sniper on your wall looks like it'll do the job. That's the chestnut. It'll be quiet as a mouse.
Just like Ratatasker, right? But here we get to see that this is when Cletus reference is shown early on, where you're shooting satellites and coyotes. But this again goes back to the Lodge in Freemasonry and how we are going for heart shots. Because again, in the end, we see a lot of clues in reference to, well, this is one of the things that Trevor has connection with the hearts. But the most important thing about this mission in connection with the First Dose mission is that we are stealing what they already have planned. And this is where we're seeing the same thing happening on the second mission. Whereas the other missions were showing us what he had already left, this is kind of happening backwards.
I don't see the hardware, but I do see a hell of a lot of bikers.
Hardware's not here yet. I'm coming up.
Again, this is Trevor coming up, showing you where part of the line they are on the Chilean mural. Now, what's important about this is how we move. If you notice, the moon barely moved because I was here at the right time. And so again, we see that if you're playing the game at the right, look at the 0003, right place, right time, then things are going to be right where they're supposed to be. Nothing should really move. But if you understand what the moving maze is, then you've already been locked out, since the whole day is already passed. But the big key here is understanding of this is when Trevor has a really big choice again. Because if you do know what was going to be asked of you by Ron to do, and what he's afraid of, well, then you would already know because you've done this mission a million times, right? So, like, you would get this dialogue because you already knew what to do. And this is, again, are you going to kill the guy in the van because you know that he's just calling the dead guy? Or are you going to listen to Ron and wait till he gets out? And this right here would be the perfect shot. Bam! Because again, if you were trying to rush through this and being a dick and not listening to Ron, you would realize that he's just kind of wasting our time. So that's why, are you playing the passive way and listening to what they're doing, or are you gunning for gold, trying to go straight through? But each time we shoot somebody, they say interesting things. So long, sailor. And we also hear a bolt from the blue. Now, when we look closely at what the plans that the Lost MC had, I've already says he'll do a 4D analysis on it. You can see that they were looking for us, but they knew about the JetSam terminal. We also see the women. But if you pop in these coordinates into GTA coordinates map, you'll find it in fact shows us Stab City and the cannery. But here again is where we're stealing something that the Lost had already had established. So just like Nervous Rom, we're taking something that I'd already had planned, but we're making sure to destroy everything, blow everything up along the way, while taking out reinforcements constantly. A lot like Trevor and Nervous Rom.
I'm hoping this change of management will be as painless as possible.
Now, even though there's a lot of similarities, the big distinction is that we're not stealing this in an airplane, or at least not yet. And this is where, as we reach the end of this mission, we steal one of their trucks and just go right down the street to the warehouse. And we also get a really good close look at the Eagle capturing the Lost Soul. Now, this next mission is entitled Fatal Excursion, which again, we've been seeing a ton of these Fatal Excursion clues. Something here. What are they referencing here, right? And what's interesting, again, when we look at the similarities between single player and online, we again see a lot of similarities to Trevor, but this is again shown to us almost backwards. Let me explain and show you.
I'll explain the plan on the way.
Now again, I've shown us some small examples of connection of Ice and Trevor, but here we're seeing that Ice is in connection with meth, which again is Trevor and Speed. But what's interesting is we're going to start to see a lot of clues again that this is about building up these things together. And he talks about this as the sting and the tail, like the scorpion, which was also tattooed on Trevor's hand.
So we're gonna hit him hard. Steal as much of that sweet mess as we can and get it back here. Job one, though, gotta swing by Stab.
And this is where he mentions that we're going to go attack the reinforcements at Stab City, which is exactly what Trevor did. But he also mentions ketamine therapy. You remember the last time somebody took ketamine in this game? Oh, that's right. He went into I guess a therapy trip, right? At least that's what Dak says. Now, this asshole reference is actually in reference to the end of the game. Notice it has to be to the Earth. Mountain pose. You're bringing the asshole and the mouth together, the beginning and the end, or like the Chilean mural, right from the bottom to the top. So again, this has to do with the butthole being the exit of the game. So this is exactly where Trevor goes when he's going to exit to LS.
Trash the place, shoot the buttholes, burn their stuff, piss on the ashes, and don't wipe your ass on the way out.
But the main difference here is that Trevor brings lightning. Drop in again. And this is where, again, we see the fluctuation of the day and the weather, where it's forced lightning, which we know is important. And they slipped on ice, guys. Can you believe that? Those poor brothers. But, like, Trevor, his goal was to do this in the stealth mode, to sneak and be a surprise present. Whereas in Dax's mission, our goal is the same, to make a lot of noise, destroy things. But being quiet is not really the option. So even though our goal is to blow everything up, we're still doing it, but in a different way. But it's still the exact same thing. And so you can see that it's, again, is Rockstar doing this on purpose? Are they just reusing parts of the game? But why is it specifically using Trevor's parts?
Sounds so good. Honestly, it's like I called a sex line or something.
So far, everything we've seen in relationship to First Dose and the first 3 missions are all pointing to Trevor's missions. Him and as his time in Blaine County, but also when he's going to LS. There's even a lot of references here that could be connected to his heist. But if you've been paying attention, there's a few missions we didn't mention yet, which is kind of being played out here. For instance, the O'Neills, or like I said, that plane. And here's where this stuff all comes together again for the closure. So we're set out to destroy the meth, but most importantly, we're here to destroy their meth lab, just like in the O'Neill brothers that we see in Trevor. But this is again when we start to pay attention to all the things that are being said. House foreclosure, international drug dealer to the last drop. It was Nervous Ron that got him there. We see him with the Rambo.
I'm very sorry.
No dogs allowed. Lost dog.
You're fucking sorry?
Then we see the satellite dish.
Guts out to you, and you say to me, you're sorry. Who are you working with? Huh? Who? I'm not at
liberty to say. And you see the Rambo references, the logger, the signs. And this is where, again, we start to see all these elements that are hinting at other things again. Smashing the head in. You see foreclosure. This is where the X is where his hand is. Little birdie, there it is right there. Just like being scalped. And again, this is again where we see that they like scalped his business, right? But we also see the gnomes. And this again is that we are destroying the farm, destroying the lab. And this is exactly what we're trying to do in Last Dose's mission as well. Fatal Excursion. Our goal is to destroy this lab, which was also shown in association with Trevor's escape. So again, this goes back to that these are the missions that we're supposed to be doing towards the end, even in single player. And again, you can't deny the striking similarities of these places. So we're destroying their lab, stealing their products. And at the same time, this is about speed and meth ice. And but this is all, remember, retaliation because of them destroying Trevor's trailer. This is where we also see this too, stealing a plane. See, this is payback. But this is again where we start to see that the goal is to steal a plane that is already loaded and ready to go. But most importantly, make sure we wipe out all of their production so they cannot come back to this place. Just like Trevor did with the O'Neills. But it's interesting is the plane they choose is the Dodo. Which maybe this was just the only online plane they could think of, because this exact location right here is where the Dodo spawns in single player. Which if you were a returning player from PS3 to PS4, one of the rewards was the Dodo, which will spawn at that exact location when we pick it up for Last Dose. But in order to get the Dodo, you have to steal it from this secret low location in the cave and fly it to an airfield and store it. So again, are we just reusing resources for a mission, or is this part of how things are ascending from one game to the next, and about how this mystery is supposed to be solved? Because why else would we bring single-player mission saves with us? Why would it even matter if all everybody ever cares about is online? And so then again, this is Rockstar's attempt to give us some kind of clue, some kind of answer to what the mystery is supposed to be. At least that was the claim when I was made privy to the information of this DLC release back in February of 2022. But then we hear the infamous line again with the eggs on Chiliad. Speaking of meth. Timeline, What exactly did he mean by that? But again, this is where we start to see the similarities again to the ending of Nervous Ron, where we are stealing a plane already loaded with those supplies, but that this was already a plan by Trevor, that he was going to set this up with Oscar, which is the ending of this mission.
That kind of requires someone to purchase our guns. There's a fire on the water. I'm guessing it's them. It better be. Drop your load.
But this is also something that we see associated with the military base, that we don't want to be shown up on anybody's radar. But then again, something we see in Absurd Adventures is this exact same scene being played out where a signal is being sent out and it's being received. And so what is this signal exactly that we're supposed to be sending out? But here we hear the infamous line where one mystery hunter associated that maybe it's the Infinity 8. But as soon as I heard that made me think of the Pharaoh and the Mummy. And this is where we hear how this mission, Nervous Ron, starts to end immediately at the base where you can buy the base to start the gun running missions.
We might be able to buy into Oscar's thing, but leave that to me, Ron. I'm sorry to ask this.
So another two decisions are being played out here. One, Ron makes you make the comment that he better not beat you to the airstrip. Are you beating Ron to the airstrip, and why? Why, if we lose, would it make a difference? And then he also makes the comment that he'll talk about the exact split in which he'll give Ron the money, but in reality he keeps the money for himself.
Restitution for my impotent rage statue?
That was a mighty fine statue, Trev.
So again, as far as our actions go in this mission, we have a lot of choices to either listen to Ron or not listen to Ron. But in the end, we're always going to be a jerk and steal his money.
I might? Yeah, I mean I will. Good idea.
We don't have time to dwell on that now, because we got more runs, Ron. If there is one thing that they need,
it's south of that big fence. This is again, there's an interesting clue about the fox jumping over the fence. Very obscure. And look, we also see the crop duster right there. Look at the hand coming up.
Now go.
I need to meditate and masturbate. But remember who's right around the corner here meditating.
I used to be called Marnie. Now I am Shupar, Queen of the Winds.
But most importantly, this is when we start to get a new hideout, or places that businesses that we can buy, we can store, and we start to see a lot of interesting stickers and things associated here. And notice that the 3s are glowing in the light. But so just like Dax, and everything that he's done is about gaining a new foothold in LS, or a new property for himself. Again, we see that the endings of all of these missions seem to be associated with also the First Dose and single player. Like there's a connection here. But let's talk about this Ram for a second here.
You American? Man.
Everybody seems to make fun of his accent.
Oscar, Tango,
Foxtrot, whiskey.
Oscar.
And this is where we see an association with the foxes, the rams, his accent. We start to see foxes, rams, accent fixing, and horses. And even in the Capo Polaro movie, we see the birds associated with dropping goats. What could this be? Well, if the goat was associated with the gun running missions, where we can see how you are hunting golden smoke and dropping in very significant, interesting places. And even some of these places all taking you to places that you should already know by now. Again, why are they making us see these places? Why are they hinting us that these places are important, if they are not important?
Alright, I see you flying in. Try to touch down over in the storm drain, and be careful. Or no.
See, even Dex said you had the choice, listen or don't. So again, comparing single player to First Dose DLC missions, you can see that the similarities all seem to be connected directly to Trevor themselves. Well then, if that's the case, why is it specifically those missions? Ice in the freezer. But now the next mission in the next video, we're end the video here. We're gonna be able to basically deep dive into the whole trip scene and what comes next. And we're going to see exactly when this uncontrolled substance, this portal, and what the mystery was supposed to be about. This alignment, the eye that Rockstar keeps saying. And we're supposed to go into this rainbow beam into the light. But till next time, everybody, Captain Bring Down out.